This video we're going to look at a compound interest question. A savings account pays 3% compounded annually. If $10,000 is deposited in the account, how much is in the account at the end of 2 years? Okay. So how we work this one out is we start with year 1. Okay. And we have to calculate the interest amount. How would you calculate the interest amount in year 1? Savings account pays 3% compounded annually. So the simple interest is 3%. 3% of the money in there. So the interest amount is going to be 3% of $10,000. Calculate that. So 3% as a decimal is what? The decimal point is here. Move it over 2 places, stick in a 0. So 0.03 or 0.03 multiplied by 10,000, right? So if we multiply those, what do we get? Let's see, 10,000, 0.03 multiply 3 times 0, 0, 3 times 0, 0, 3 times 0, 0, 3 times 0, 0, 3 times 1 is 3. And we have 2 decimal places in the question, so 2 in the answer. So $300. Interest amount, $300, right? So after year 1, what is the total amount in the account? Well, you have to get the original and you have to add the interest, right, to get your total. So what was the original amount? $10,000, right? So we started with 10,000. We add the interest of 300. So at the end of year 1, $10,300 in the account. Okay. Now, compounded annually. Let's see. It's how much is in the account at the end of 2 years. So we're done with year 1. At the end of year 1, we got 10,300 in there. Now we're going to move on to year 2. So you'd have to do this for every year, basically. And for year 2, you've got to calculate the interest amount. Now, you're starting with $10,300 in year 2, remember, because you've already got interest on that from the first year. What is the interest rate in year 2? It says the account pays 3% compounded annually. They've already given you an interest rate of 3%. So the interest rate in year 2, we've got to get 3% of what? Of 10,300. See that? So calculate 3% of 10,300. What do you get? 3% as a decimal once again is 0.03. We've got to multiply that by 10,300. Okay. Let's do that. 10,300, 0.03, multiply 300, 300, 3 3s is 9, 300, 3 1s is 3. 2 decimal places in the question, so 2 in the answer. 309.00, which makes 309. So the interest amount in year 2 is $309. So what will be in the account now at the end of the year? At the end of year 2? Well, at the end of year 2, what's the original amount at the beginning of year 2? At the beginning of year 2, we start with what was at the end of year 1, which is 10,300, right? Then we add on the interest. What was the interest earned in year 2? we got 3% of $10,300, $309, right? So we're going to add that on. And that gives us the total at the end of year 2. What does that make? 9, 0, 6, 10. So the answer is, how much is in the account at the end of 2 years? The answer is $10,609. This amount at the end of 2 years. Okay.